we are back at the auction site when I reviewed the excavators for the first time. And the very first excavator that I reviewed for the video series was the BTTL 12. And this was a fairly simple machine with no counterweights and without a hydraulic thumb. And as you can see, the price that this went for was $2,000. There were 2 units available. And when you put in the 13% hammer fee, that brought the price of the BTTL up to $2,260. And then, of course, depending on where you live in Ohio, if you bought it in Ohio, you have to add the applicable sales tax, which usually runs right around 6%. So that would add another $100 or so to that price. So that unit was about $2,300. So now we move on to the next BTTL unit that I reviewed for the auction video, and that was the BTTL 15. Now this was a much nicer unit. It had a rear counterweight, hydraulic cooler, nice controls, pilot controls, had a manual thumb, but this was the unit that I said I was torn between that and my H15R. So this unit, it would have been one to buy had I not purchased the H15R. So they had 2 of those available. One went for $2,750 and one went for $2,700. That brought the price, including the hammer fee, up to $3,051 for the one and $3,107 for the other. And then, of course, add in the sales tax. So you're looking at $3,300 for each of those units. The next unit that came up for auction was the ATS ME18. And I don't remember much about this unit. I don't think it had a counterweight, and it was a pretty basic unit, but it did have pilot controls. They had one of these, and this particular unit sold for $2,400 at auction, which brought the price with the hammer fee to $2,712 plus applicable sales tax. The next units that came up for auction was the TPM 18BS. They had 5 of those units available. They were pretty nice units. They had swing boom, hydraulics thumb, Briggs & Stratton engine, and those units went between $2,750 and $3,000. So one went for $3,100. So that brought the total price for each unit up to $3,107 with hammer fee, $3,390 for another one with hammer fee, and $3,503 with hammer fee, plus applicable sales tax. So here was the surprise of the day. The next units that became available was the TPM 20K. There were 4 of these units available, and these were nice units. They had a Kubota D902 engine, swing boom, hydraulic thumb, rear counterweight, pilot controls. These were loaded machines. And they, again, had a diesel Kubota 902 in them. And these units sold a lot less than I thought. They went for $5,500, $5,250, $5,500, and $5,500, which brought the price of those units basically with the hammer fee to $5,932 and $6,215 plus applicable sales tax. The next units up were the SDLE 20s. Now, there were 2 of these units, and these ones had the Yanmar diesel engine in them. And they did not have counterweights in the rear, but they were nonetheless a nice looking machine with a diesel engine, hydraulic thumb, and those 2 units went for $5,250 and $4,750 respectively. And that brought the total up with hammer fee to $5,932 and $5,367 plus sales tax. The next unit up was the Future FT15, and this one had pilot controls, but I think they were the pilot controls that were actually just sitting on top of valves. They weren't actually true hydraulic pilot controls. But they had one of these units for sale, and it sold for $2,100, and with the hammer fee, that brought it up to $2,373 plus sales tax. The next unit was the Future FT13C, and the C stands for cab. And as you can see, this unit had a smashed rear window from shipping, so that was brought to the buyer's attention before they bid on it. And that unit went for $2,750, and with the hammer fee, that brought that unit up to $3,107 plus sales tax. And the last 3 units at the auction was the Future FT13, pretty much the most basic unit they had here at the auction. There were 3 of those units, and they went for $2,250 and $2,000 for the other 2. So when you add in the hammer fee, that brought the price of those machines to $2,260 and $2,542 plus sales tax. Well, some of those prices were surprising, but by the time you add in the sales tax and the fact that you have to, for me at least, I'd have to rent a trailer, go get them and bring them here. I'm not really disappointed with my decision to buy the H15R, but I have to tell you, I was surprised at how inexpensive those diesel Kubota 902, I think it was the 20s, went for at auction today. That was a deal. If you were looking for a diesel excavator, they had counterweights, they had hydraulic thumbs, I think they had swing boom, and it had a diesel D902 Kubota in them. Those prices really surprised me. So, but again, the point of this video was to mod up a cheaper Chinese excavator, and I'm really enjoying doing it, so I have no regrets. It's given me, not only content here for the channel, but it's been really fun this winter to work on it. So I just wanted to come out and give you the update on these auction prices so you can see if it's worth for you to maybe to wait for a local auction, or just go ahead and buy off Facebook like I do and get it delivered to your house without any hassle at all. So that's completely up to you. But that'll be it for today. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you can be notified of all of the videos that come out for this modification series that I'm doing on my H15R. So until next time, this is Jeff with the Jeffscavator channel. And are you digging or are you filling?